Washington, D.C. is located on the east coast of the United States along the Potomac River between the states of Maryland and Virginia. It serves as the political and administrative center of the United States. The White House, the U.S. Capitol, the Supreme Court, and various other government buildings are located within the city. The city is also home to numerous iconic monuments and memorials. The city also boasts a wide range of museums and cultural institutions, many of which are part of the Smithsonian Institution, the world's largest museum, education, and research complex. The city attracts millions of tourists every year due to its historical significance, political importance, and cultural attractions. Visitors come to explore the various monuments, museums, and vibrant neighborhoods within the city. There are many ways you can get around the city. You can take the big bus hop-on hop-off tours, and you can also take the city's public transportation system, which is very easy to use. Another tour you could take is the DC's Old Town Trolley Tour, which is the number-rated tour in DC. Washington, D.C. was named for George Washington, a founding father and victorious commanding general of the Continental Army in the American Revolutionary War, and the first president of the United States, who was also sometimes referred to as the founder of the country. The district is named for Columbia, the female personification of the nation. The city is divided into quadrants, which are centered around the capital and include 131 neighborhoods. As of the 2020 census, the city has a population of 689,545, making it the 23rd most populous city in the US. But this population could have increased since this census was taken. DC is also the third most populous city in the Southeast after Jacksonville and Charlotte, and the third most populous city in the Mid-Atlantic after only New York City and Philadelphia. Many people who work in Washington, D.C. commute from cities of Maryland and Virginia suburbs, which raise the city's daytown population to more than 1 million during the work week. The Washington metropolitan area, which includes parts of Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia, is the country's 6th largest metropolitan area, with a 2020 population of 6.3 million residents. The District of Columbia hosts all 3 branches of the U.S. federal government, including Congress, the President, and the Supreme Court, and the government buildings that house most of the federal government, including the White House, the Capitol, and the Supreme Court building, and multiple federal departments and agencies. On July 1790, Congress passed the Resident Act, which approved the creation of a national capital on the Potomac River. Under the Resident Act, the exact location was to be selected by President George Washington, who signed the bill into law on July 16, 1790. Formed from land donated by Maryland and Virginia, the initial shape of the federal district was a square measuring 10 miles on each side and totaling 100 square miles. 2 pre-existing settlements were included in the territory: the port of Georgetown, which was founded in 1751, and the port city of Alexandria, Virginia, founded in 1749. A new federal city was constructed on the north bank of the Potomac River to the east of Georgetown. On September 9, 1791, 3 commissioners overseeing the capital's construction named the city in honor of President George Washington. The same day, the federal district was named Columbia. Congress passed the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1801, which officially organized the district and placed the entire territory under the exclusive control of the federal government. The area within the district was organized into two counties, the County of Washington to the east and north of the Potomac, and the County of Alexandria to the west and south. With its marble monuments and high-profile politicals, Washington, D.C. has long been saddled with a reputation as a stuffy, government-driven town, a city of southern efficiency and northern charm. Washington, D.C. is often described by outsiders as slow and inefficient, but these days, the nation's capital is awash with new energy, transforming itself into an exciting, fast-paced East Coast vacation destination. On your trip to DC, you should definitely try to visit classic attractions like the White House and the Washington Monument, the U.S. Capitol, Smithsonian National Museums, and all of the monuments located in the National Mall. If you have time in the city, definitely try to stroll around the Tidal Basin. Probably the best time to visit Washington, D.C. is in late March and early April, which is just in time for the National Cherry Blossom Festival. Washington, D.C. is known for its history and politics, and you can't get any closer to the action. The city has over 600 parks, and in the spring, you can see the National Mall all decked out in its infamous cherry blossoms. Be sure to visit the major monuments and historical buildings scattered throughout the city and the many Smithsonian museums as well. There are many different ways to explore Washington, D.C., so use TripAdvisor as a starting point to help plan your trip. Constitution Avenue Northwest is located in the heart of Washington, D.C., running east to west along the northern edge of the National Mall. It stretches from the U.S. Capitol building to the western edge of the city. Constitution Avenue is a significant part of the layout of the National Mall, providing a direct route between important landmarks and memorials. Along Constitution Avenue Northwest, you'll find numerous important government buildings, museums, memorials, and landmarks, including the U.S. Capitol, the seat of the U.S. Congress, the National Archives building, which houses important historical documents, including the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. The Washington Monument, an iconic obelisk that honors George Washington, the first president of the U.S., the World War II Memorial, a memorial dedicated to the men and women who served in the armed forces during World War II. The Vietnam War Memorial, a moving tribute to those who served and sacrificed during the Vietnam War. The Korean War Veterans Memorial, a memorial honoring the veterans of the Korean War. And the Lincoln Memorial Reflection Pool, a long rectangular pool that enhances the visual beauty of the National Mall. Constitution Avenue Northwest plays a vital role in the layout and experiences of Washington, D.C. It serves as a pathway that connects people with the nation's history, ideals, and institutions, while offering a scenic route through some of the capital's most iconic landmarks. The National Mall is a historic and iconic national park located in the heart of Washington, D.C. It stretches from the Lincoln Memorial on the western end to the U.S. Capitol on the eastern end. Covering a distance of about 2 miles, the National Mall is a significant cultural, historical, and recreational area that plays a central role in the city's identity. Some key features and points of interest along the National Mall include the many monuments and memorials such as the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, the World War II Memorial, the Korean War Veterans Memorial, and the Vietnam War Veterans Memorial. At the eastern end of the National Mall is the U.S. Capitol, the home of the U.S. Congress. The Capitol is the symbol of American democracy and governance. The National Mall is an integral part of Washington, D.C.'s landscape and is visited by millions of people from around the world each year. It serves as a symbol of the nation's history, ideals, and aspirations. The National Mall is America's front yard. It features the famous Washington Monument, the World War II Memorial, the Lincoln Memorials, 156 reservations, circles, fountains, and more. Officially established in 1965, the National Mall and Memorials Parks contains some of the oldest protected parks lands in the National Park Service. The areas within the National Mall and Memorial Parks provide visitors with ample opportunities to commemorate presidential legacies and honor the courage and sacrifice of war veterans. The Washington Monument is one of the most recognizable landmarks in Washington, D.C., and holds a significant historical and cultural importance. The monument is an iconic obelisk-shaped stone tower that stands prominently on the National Mall. It was constructed in honor of George Washington, the first president of the U.S. and founding father of the nation. The monument is situated on the western end of the National Mall, between the reflection pool and the U.S. Capitol. Its location provides a clear line of sight between the Lincoln Memorial and the U.S. Capitol. The construction of the Washington Monument began in 1848, but faced several interruptions due to funding issues, the Civil War, and engineering challenges. The monument's design was influenced by ancient Egyptian obelisks. With a height of 555 feet, the monument is primarily made with white marble, granite, and sandstone. The lower part of the monument structure is faced with white marble from Maryland, while the upper part is faced with white marble from Massachusetts. The Washington Monument was officially dedicated on February 21, 1885, although it wasn't fully completed at that time. The monument's interior was still unfinished, and the exterior was not fully cleaned and restored until later. Visitors can ascend the Washington Monument using an elevator that takes them to an observation deck at the top. From the observation deck, visitors can enjoy panoramic views of the city, including landmarks like the U.S. Capitol, the Lincoln Memorial, and the reflection pool. The Washington Monument is the tallest monumental column in the world if all are measured above their pedestrian entrances. It was the world's tallest structure between 1884 and 1889, after which it was overtaken by the Eiffel Tower in Paris. The Washington Monument serves as a powerful symbol of George Washington's leadership and the founding of the U.S., as well as the principles of liberty and democracy. It is often depicted in images and representations of the nation's capital. The monument is not only a tribute to George Washington, but also a testament to the enduring values and aspirations of the U.S. See the U.S. Capitol's legendary landmarks on the Hop On Hop Off Washington, D.C. Big Bus Tour. Big Bus offers 3 different ticket packages during the daytime: Discover, Essential, and Explore, which runs from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., plus a night tour, which starts at 7:30 p.m. The Discover ticket works for those who only want one-day ticket. This costs $54. The Essential ticket includes a 2-day hop-on hop-off ticket. This costs $63 and is a bestseller. If you are there for 3+ days, I would go for the Explore ticket, which costs $72 and includes a one-way monument water taxi. Use my link in the description to purchase your hop-on hop-off ticket. Discover the best of Washington, D.C. on the Hop On Hop Off Trolley Tour. With 15 stops at iconic sites across the city, You can upgrade to include a tram stop at Arlington National Cemetery as well. Experience the sights of Washington, D.C. by night on a guided trolley tour of the city's most popular monuments. Along the way, learn about the fascinating history of the nation's capital. Old Town Trolley is the #1 ranked tour in Washington, D.C. Use my links to book your trip through GetYourGuide because it is cheaper than buying on the website. The Jefferson Memorial is a presidential memorial built in Washington, D.C. between 1939 and 1943 in honor of President Thomas Jefferson, who was the principal author of the U.S. Declaration of Independence and a central intellectual force behind the American Revolution, founder of the Democratic Republic Party and the nation's third president. The memorial features multiple quotes from Thomas Jefferson intended to capture his ideology and philosophy, known as Jeffersonian democracy. The Jefferson Memorial is built in neoclassical style and is situated in West Potomac Park on the shore of the Potomac River. It was designed by John Russell Pope, a New York City architect, and built by Philadelphia contractor John McShane. Construction began in 1939 and completed in 1943, although the statue was not added until 4 years after it was opened in 1947. The Jefferson Memorial is situated on the south bank of the Tidal Basin, a reservoir located between the Potomac River and the National Mall. It is located to the southwest of the White House and the National Mall. The memorial offers scenic views of the Tidal Basin, the Washington Monument, and other landmarks in the area. The reflection pool in front of the memorial enhances its visual appeal. Jefferson Memorial is a tribute to Thomas Jefferson and his contribution to the nation, particularly his authorship of the Declaration of Independence and his advocacy for individual freedom and democratic principles. The Jefferson Memorial stands as a testament to Jefferson's legacy and his lasting impact on American history and ideals. It serves as a place for contemplation, education, and celebration of democratic principles. The World War II Memorial is a national memorial in the U.S. dedicated to Americans who served in the armed forces during World War II. It is located in the National Mall, in between the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. The memorial consists of 56 pillars representing U.S. states and territories, and a pair of small triumphal arches for Atlantic and Pacific leaders, surrounding an oval plaza and fountain. The memorial opened on April 29, 2004. It was dedicated by President George W. Bush on May 29, 2004. The memorial is administered by the NPS under its National Mall and Memorial Parks group. The memorial attracts millions of visitors each year. The World War II Memorial is situated on the east end of the reflection pool between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. It is part of the National Mall and is in close proximity to the other significant memorials and landmarks. The memorial features a neoclassical design with architectural elements inspired by the time period of World War II. It consists of 56 pillars surrounding a central plaza and fountain, which represents the 48 states of the U.S. at the time of the war, as well as the territories and the District of Columbia. The pillars are connected by bronze rope, symbolizing the unity of the nation during the war. The memorial has two arches, the Atlantic Arch and the Provincial Arch, representing the war's theaters in Europe and the Pacific. These arches are adorned with wreaths and various inscriptions commemorating the major battles and campaigns of the war. The memorial also includes two pavilions, one dedicated to the Atlantic Theater of the war and the other to the Pacific Theater. The reflection pool, better known as the Lincoln Memorial Reflection Pool, is a long rectangular body of water located between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. It's a prominent and iconic feature of the mall, providing a reflective surface that enhances the beauty and visual appeal of the area. The reflection pool runs approximately 2,029 feet in length and is oriented along the east-west axis of the National Mall. The primary purpose of the reflection pool is aesthetic. Its calm and still water create a mirror-like surface that reflects the surrounding monument and landmark, creating stunning visual effects and enhancing the beauty of the mall. The reflection pool was designed to provide a visually unobstructed view between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. The alignment of the two iconic structures, along with the reflection pool, creates a dramatic and balanced vista. The Lincoln Memorial Reflection Pool was designed by Henry Bacon and constructed between 1922 and 1923. Following the dedication of the Lincoln Memorial, it's approximately 2,030 feet long and 167 feet wide. The perimeter of the pool is therefore 4,392 feet around. It has a depth of approximately 18 inches on the sides and 30 inches in the center. It holds approximately 6,750,000 US gallons of water. Part of the iconic image of Washington, D.C., the reflection pool hosts millions of visitors annually. It is lined by walking paths and shade trees on both sides. Depending on the viewer's vantage point, it dramatically reflects the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and the mall's trees or expansive skies. The Lincoln Memorial is a U.S. national monument that honors the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Built in form of a neoclassical temple, it is on the western end of the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Henry Bacon was the memorial's architect. Daniel Chester French designed the large interior statue in 1920, which was carved in marble by the Puccinelli brothers. Dedicated May 30th, 1922, it is one of the several memorials built to honor an American president. It has been a major tourist attraction since its opening, and over the years has occasionally been used as a symbolic center focused on race relations and civil rights. Doric-style columns line the temple's exterior, and the inscriptions inside include two well-known speeches by Lincoln: the Gettysburg Address and his second inaugural address. The memorial has been the site of many famous speeches, including the Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech, delivered on August 28, 1963, during a rally at the end of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. The Lincoln Memorial includes 36 columns of Colorado marble, one for each state in the Union at the time of Lincoln's death in 1865. Each column stands 44 feet high. The names of the 48 contiguous states are listed above the colonnade, and the dates of their admission into the Union are engraved in Roman numerals. Because Hawaii and Alaska attained statehood several decades after Lincoln Memorial was finished, their names are inscribed on a plaque located on the front steps. With Kiwi's unique algorithm, Kiwi is able to create combinations of flights, train, and bus tickets and offer them in one single itinerary. Kiwi's user-friendly design helps travelers easily navigate through the site and create the best possible combinations of travel options. With an extensive database of low-cost flights and traditional airlines, an interactive map, and more, you can use Kiwi.com to find great fares. Use my links to find flights on Kiwi.com. Look for outstanding deals on flights, hotels, car rentals, and attractions on Booking.com, where your adventures are just a click away and exclusive rewards are around every corner. Check out some outstanding deals using the links below. For example, you can get some great deals on villas and resorts by using my links. Use my links to find hotels in Washington, D.C. Arlington National Cemetery is the most famous cemetery in the country. It serves as the final resting place for many of the country's greatest heroes, including 300,000 veterans from every American conflict from the Revolutionary War to Iraq and Afghanistan. Since its founding in 1866, the cemetery has provided a solemn place to reflect upon the sacrifices made by men and women in the U.S. Armed Forces. Arlington National Cemetery is a prestigious military cemetery in Arlington, Virginia, just across the Potomac River from Washington, D.C. It is one of the most well-known and revered cemeteries in the U.S., serving as the final resting place for numerous military service members, veterans, and other distinguished individuals. Arlington National Cemetery was established during the American Civil War on the grounds of Arlington House, the former house of General Robert E. Lee. The property was confiscated by the U.S. government due to its strategic location overlooking Washington, D.C., and was turned into a military cemetery. The cemetery is a final resting place for a wide range of individuals, including military personnel from various conflicts, veterans, high-ranking officers, and notable public figures. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and grave sites of President John F. Kennedy and his family are among the most visited sites within the cemetery. The John F. Kennedy Eternal Flame is a memorial located in Arlington National Cemetery dedicated to the 35th President of the U.S., John F. Kennedy. The memorial is situated on a hill overlooking the Potomac River and Washington, D.C. It is known for its simple yet powerful design and a symbolic representation of President Kennedy's legacy. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is a symbolic tribute to the unidentified soldiers who have died in service to the nation. The tomb is guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, by the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Regiment, known as the Old Guard. There is a changing of the guard ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which is a symbolic ritual that takes place every hour in the summer and every 2 hours in the winter. The ceremony involves a precise changing of the guard and pays tribute to the sacrifices of all those who served. Arlington National Cemetery is open to the public for visits. Visitors are expected to show respect and follow specific guidelines, including being quiet and respectful, not touching monuments, and following the rules of the cemetery. Arlington National Cemetery serves as a place of reflection, remembrance, and honor, preserving the memory of those who served and sacrificed for the U.S. It holds a special place in the hearts of Americans as a symbol of gratitude and respect for those who have defended the nation's values and freedoms. There are lots of amazing monuments and memorials to visit in Washington, D.C. along with the city's museums and vital government buildings. Viator offers many amazing tours in the city, and if you would like to explore the city more in depth, join a guided sightseeing tour of DC. The DC Capitol and National Archives is highly rated. Lucky for you, Viator has a tour that covers both of these extraordinary sites. You may also find hop-on hop-off night tours as well. Use my link to look for your right Viator tour. The NordVPN service allows you to connect to 5,230 plus servers in 56 plus countries. It secures your internet data with military-grade encryption and ensures your web activity remains private and helps bypass restrictions in internet-restricted countries. VPNs create an encrypted tunnel for your data and protect your online identity by hiding your IP address and allow you to use public Wi-Fi hotspots safely. NordVPN is perfect for digital nomads that need to connect to public Wi-Fi for work and will ensure that your privacy is safe online. Use my links to find out more about NordVPN and to get a free trial. Pennsylvania Avenue is one of the most famous and historically significant streets in Washington, D.C., connecting the U.S. Capitol in the east to the White House and beyond. It also passes by the National Archives building and continues westward into other neighborhoods. Pennsylvania Avenue is well known as the route of the presidential inauguration parade. After taking the oath of office, the newly inaugurated president travels in a procession down Pennsylvania Avenue from the Capitol to the White House, symbolizing the peaceful transfer of power. A portion of Pennsylvania Avenue, known as the Pennsylvania National Historic Site, has been designated as a historic district by the National Park Service. This district includes the area between the White House and the Capitol, encompassing important landmarks and buildings. Along Pennsylvania Avenue, you'll find several significant government buildings and landmarks, including the U.S. Capitol, which is the seat of the U.S. Congress, the White House, the official residence and workplace of the President of the United States, the old Post Office Pavilion, a historic building that has been repurposed into a mixed-use development, and the Willard International and the Willard Intercontinental Hotel, which is a historic hotel known as the Residence of Presidents due to its connection to political events. Pennsylvania Avenue holds a special place in the nation's capital, serving as a symbolic and physical link between the executive and legislative branch of government. Its historical significance, iconic landmarks, and role in political ceremonies make it a key destination for visitors to Washington, D.C. The U.S. Capitol, often simply referred to as the Capitol, is the seat of the U.S. Congress and a symbol of American democracy. Located on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., the Capitol is one of the most iconic and historically significant buildings in the United States. The Capitol's neoclassical architecture was designed by architect William Thornton. The building's central dome is a prominent feature and is inspired by the dome of the Pantheon in Rome. The exterior is made of white sandstone and features columns and statues and intricate detailing. The Capitol building is home to numerous statues, sculptures, and artwork that commemorate significant individuals and events in U.S. history. The rotunda, located underneath the dome, features historical paintings and statues of prominent figures. The rotunda is a circular space located underneath the Capitol's dome. It is often used for ceremonies, events, and as a resting place for individuals lying in state, such as presidents, senators, and other distinguished individuals. Atop of the Capitol dome is the Statue of Freedom, a bronze sculpture depicting a female figure with a laurel wreath and sword. It is a symbol of the United States and its ideals. The U.S. Capitol stands as a symbol of American democracy, governance, and history. It embodies the principle of representative government and serves as a physical reminder of the nation's commitment to liberty, justice, and the pursuit of a more perfect union. The White House is the official residence and workplace of the President of the United States. It is located at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest in Washington, D.C., and has been the residence of every U.S. president since John Adams in 1800, when the nation's capital was moved there from Philadelphia. The residence was designed by Irish-born architect James Hoban in neoclassical style. Construction began between 1792 and 1800 using Aqua Creek sandstone painted white. When Thomas Jefferson moved into the house in 1801, he and architect Benjamin Henry Latrobe added low colonnades to each wing. The White House is not only a physical residence, but a symbol of the presidency, democracy, and American leadership. It represents the authority, responsibilities, and duties associated with the highest office in the land. The White House serves as a focal point of American governance and leadership, representing both the history and the ongoing responsibilities of the presidency. It is a symbol of the democratic principles on which the United States was founded and a place where decisions of the national and global significance are made. If you're not sure where to start in Washington, D.C., a Washington, D.C. Sightseeing Flex Pass is your all-access ticket. Save up to 30% on all admission prices of over 20 attractions and a range of unique activities. This pass also grants access to the hop-on hop-off bus to get around the city easily. And you can even visit George Washington's Mount Vernon estate by taking a water taxi there. Your ticket is valid for 30 days once activated, and your ticket is valid for 30 consecutive calendar days. Use my link to get your Sightseeing Flex Pass via Tiqets.com. Along the National Mall are many of the world-renowned museums that are part of the Smithsonian Institution. These museums cover a wide variety of topics, from natural history to art and culture. Some notable Smithsonian museums include National Museum of American History, the National Air and Space Museum, and the National Museum of Natural History. Smithsonian institutions operate several world-renowned museums in Washington, D.C. Museums collectively offer a diverse range of exhibits, artifacts, and educational experiences that cover a wide spectrum of topics, from history and science to art and culture. There are also other specialty museums to visit in DC as well. See my blog in the description for more detail about museums to visit in DC. The Capital One Arena serves as the home venue for the Washington Capitals of the NHL and Washington Wizards of the NBA. In addition to sport events, the Capital One Arena hosts a variety of entertainment shows, concerts, and performances by artists and bands from different genres. The arena is situated in the Chinatown neighborhood of Washington, D.C., near the Gallery Place Chinatown Metro Station. DC's Chinatown history dates back to the late 19th century, when Chinese immigrants began settling in the area. It served as a hub for the Chinese community and various businesses. In the past, DC Chinatown was a thriving community with Chinese-owned businesses, restaurants, and cultural institutions. However, over time, the neighborhood's character has shifted due to urban development and changing demographics. Despite its smaller size, DC's Chinatown still features notable landmarks, including the Friendship Archway, a traditional Chinese gate that symbolizes the neighborhood's historical and cultural connection. Because DC's Chinatown is so close to the Capital One Arena, it is a popular spot for pre-game dining and entertainment. Union Station is a historic train station and transportation hub in Washington, D.C. It serves as a major hub for Amtrak, the national passenger rail service. Union Station was originally designed by architect Daniel Burnham and opened in 1907. It was built to serve as a grand gateway to the nation's capital and a symbol of the city's growth and importance. The station is characterized by its grand entrance, impressive facade, and ornate interior. Union Station is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and is considered a historic landmark in the city. Beyond its transportation functions, Union Station is a destination in its own right, attracting tourists and locals alike who appreciate its historical significance, architecture, and amenities. Hopper is the #1 most downloaded travel app in North America, helping over 1 million travelers find and secure the best prices on flights, hotels, homes, and car rentals, each and every time they book their trips. On average, Hopper saves customers $65 per trip compared to other booking sites or apps. Plus, they sell over $4.5 billion of travel every year. Use my links to book flights or accommodations. Visiting Washington, D.C. offers a wealth of unique experiences and attractions that cater to a wide range of interests in D.C., which is steeped in history, serving as the epicenter of American government and democracy. You can visit iconic landmarks like the Capitol, the White House, and the National Archives. The city is home to some of the most recognizable monuments and memorials, paying tribute to historical figures and pivotal moments in American history. Washington, D.C. is a must-visit for any American to learn about the history of the nation.